What's happening, world? Be Marsh Boxing back at it with another boxing video. So it looks like there's been a lot of drama with this WBC belt at cruiserweight ever since the man Alexander Usyk vacated it and moved up to 100. To heavyweight after defeating Tony Bellew. You know what I mean? Ilungu Makabu has been in line. He's been holding WBC silver belts, diamond belts, whatever, for the longest now. This guy's due his title shot. I wish he participated in the World Boxing Super Series tournament, but that's neither here nor there. We're moving forward. We already know who the two finalists are going to be in the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight Muhammad Ali Trophy Final. That will be Marius Breeders versus Junior Dorticos. Latvia versus Cuba, and the fight will be in Latvia. I personally think it should be on a neutral site rather than being in a man's backyard where he'll have home ring advantage. But again, that's neither here nor there. That's not the reason I'm making this video. We're talking about Ilungu Makabu, a guy who has only 2 losses on his resume. You know what I mean? A guy who beat this Alexander Papin guy in his last fight. He knocked out Khrushchev in dramatic fashion. You know, he's beating the likes of Tabisa Machunu in dramatic fashion. The guy who just beat up Dennis Lebedev. A guy in Ilungu Makabu was also beat Glenn Johnson, the Road Warrior. You know what I mean? So, a fight between Ilungu Makabu, who's promoted by Don King, and the Polish guy who's undefeated with 19 wins, 0 losses, and 13 KOs. The guy by the name of Michal Cieslak. Well, these two guys, Makabu and Michal Cieslak from Poland, have been mandated by the WBC to fight for the vacant WBC Cruiserweight title of the world. And this fight's supposed to take place January 25th in Kinshasa, Zaire. Yeah, the same Kinshasa, Zaire where boxing fans recall the Rumble in the Jungle, Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman. Okay? Now, Ilungu Makabu, like I said, promoted by Don King, it seems like Don King and them, they don't want this guy to be a world champion. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because Don King is looking to put a stop to a potential WBC sanctioned cruiserweight fight. You know what I'm saying? Don King's lawyer, by the name of Cornelius Lewis, who heads a law firm by the name of the Lewis Law Firm, he addressed the WBC in a letter that Don King alleges that a fight between Makabu and Cieslak was scheduled without his knowledge, approval, or consent. And the WBC had listed the bout in its official website as a vacant cruiserweight title. So the lawyers of Don King have sent a cease and desist letter to Mauricio Suleiman, the president of the World Boxing Council WBC, regarding Makabu versus Michal Cieslak. This is disturbing news to me, but I'm gonna read you guys the cease and desist letter that the law firm sent out to the WBC concerning Don King trying to cock block on his own fighter from having a world title fight for the WBC cruiserweight title in the man's backyard in Kinshasa, Zaire. It don't make no sense, man. But let's get into it. Quote, this is actually from the lawyers of Don King, Cornelius Lewis, okay? Quote, Dear Mr. Suleiman, this firm serves as a legal counsel to Mr. Don King, President and Don King Productions, Incorporated, collectively DKP. It has come to DKP's attention that the World Boxing Council is sanctioning an unauthorized bout between DKP fighter Ilungu Makabu and Michal Cieslak or Cialak. Hereinafter, Makabu versus Cieslak bout or the bout scheduled to take place on or about January 18th, 2020 or January 25th, 2020 in the Democratic Republic of Congo without DKP's knowledge, consent, approval, or permission. DKP is Makabu's exclusive worldwide promoter for any and all of Makabu's professional boxing matches throughout the world, and no one other than DKP is authorized to manage the Makabu's services. Demand is made upon the WBC to cancel the Makabu versus Cieslak bout and to make such cancellation public by noticing said cancellation on the WBC's website. Since the WBC sanctioned this bout without DKP's knowledge, DKP must conclude that the WBC communicated with others to arrange this bout, so demand is made upon the WBC to immediately notify the person or persons the WBC communicated with in arranging this bout and inform them that the WBC is not sanctioning the Makabu versus Cieslak bout and that the bout is immediately canceled. DKP further demands the WBC and others immediately cease and desist any and all actions of communication of any kind with Makabu. DKP has not and does not consent to Makabu's participation in the Makabu versus Cieslak bout or any bout and has not and does not grant permission for anyone to engage in Makabu services. Please be assured that we take the matter very seriously and intend to protect DKP's rights and DKP's demands that the WBC take the steps requested in this letter on or before Saturday, January 4th, 2020, to cancel the Makabu versus Cieslak bout, pull the WBC sanctioning bodies pulled the WBC sanctioning out the bout and cease and desist any and all communications with any persons or entities other than DKP regarding Makabu and to confirm to the under and confirm to the undersigned attorney by email to carllewis@carllewis.com, whatever, that you have received this letter and that you shall promptly comply with its demands. This letter does not purport to be a complete statement of all the pertinent facts in the matter and is without prejudice to any and all rights, interests, and remedies at law, in equity of otherwise DKP may have in connection with this matter, all of which are hereby expressly reserved. Sincerely, Cornelius Carl Lewis. Cornelius Carl Lewis. End quote. So you heard the words from the attorney of Don King. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not too familiar with this Michael Cieslak guy. I've seen this man's record on BoxRec. He's fought two Africans back to back in Poland, you know what I mean? Duradola and Kalenga, okay? Two guys who've been in the cruiserweight division for a better part of the second half of the 2010s decade. You know, guys who are formidable contenders, you know what I mean? And this Polish guy dispatched both of them in Poland by stoppage and by retirement to Kalenga. All right? Now, from what I gather from this letter from Carl Cornelius Lewis, is the lawyer of Don King. They don't want this guy to fight. They don't want this guy to have a homecoming fight for a world title in Kinshasa, Zaire. Why? I don't know. Like I said, I've never seen this guy fight, and now I'm curious. They've piqued my curiosity. I've got to go and watch this guy's fights. Maybe Don King and his team don't want their guy to go in the ring with this guy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they think that this guy is a dangerous fighter who could possibly beat Makabu. I have no idea. That's why I said I have to see this guy fight. But in all honesty, this letter looks like they scared. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you want your fighter to fight for a world title? He's challenged for a world title once. You took him over there to Tony Bellew's Everton field over there in Liverpool. A great fight for the three rounds it lasted. Makabu fell short. You know what I mean? Tony Bellew realized his dreams of becoming a world champion, the only world title he ever achieved, matter of fact, But the way British fans will be talking about it, especially when it comes down to comparing him with the American fighters, you would swear that Tony Bellew was a world beater. No, he actually wasn't. No, he actually wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I give him props for that fight versus Makabu. Hit that thumbs up. Don't come in this piece eavesdropping. That's what we're not doing over here. Be Marsh Boxing, covering boxing from all parts of the globe. Hit that thumbs up and quit eavesdropping. Yeah, that's what I thought. So this guy Makabu, you would think a homecoming fight would be a joy to Don King and his team's ears. You know what I mean? But the way they talking, it's like they control everything that Makabu does. Makabu, the way I know it, the promoter works for the boxer. You know what I'm saying? Don King has always had a great relationship with the WBC, but now all of a sudden, something's fishy, man. They don't want to get in the ring with this guy, and I don't think it's Makabu. It's obviously the management and promoters of Ilungu Makabu. You know what I mean? This fight gotta happen, man. January 25th. That's just this month. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see a fight. I love to see world title fights on the continent of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not world title fights, fights that have world title implications. You know what I mean? You know, the African crowds, they definitely show up from all parts of the continent, from South Africa, West Africa, East Africa. You know what I'm saying? So, Don King, I'm not sure why. Maybe he's thinking of revenue. Maybe he thinks that they're not going to make as much money as they can possibly in Kinshasa, Zaire. I don't. I really doubt that. I think they could make their money. I think they could promote the fight well. You know, especially a guy Don King, who's a man who brought the first world title fight to Africa with the Rumble in the Jungle with Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman, 1974. You know, so the way it's looking, it's not a good look, man. I just hope that the man Makabu gets his opportunity to fight for that world title, which he definitely deserves. You know what I mean? Like I said, the WBC title been in limbo. I believe that fight versus what's his name, Marius Breedis versus Glowacki was supposed to be a unification WBC WBO, but the WBC pulled out of the sanctioning body. I'm sorry, the WBC pulled out of recognizing that fight as a WBC sanctioned fight because they were supposed to the World Boxing Council or the WBO, somebody was supposed, or maybe it's supposed to be a joint venture between the WBO and the WBC. They're supposed to pick four judges for the World Boxing Super Series tournament. Three judges, of course, judging the fight. If the fight so happens to be a draw, then the fourth judge, would be the tiebreaker, considering that it's a fight in a tournament kind of structure. You know what I mean? So there has to be a winner. There can't be a draw. Okay, so which is kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I really like that idea. Imagine if Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor, which on my card I had a draw. So there was one judge who's going to be the tiebreaker. You already know who he was going to give it to. He's going to give it to the hometown guy or the home continent guy in the home United Kingdom guy in Josh Taylor. So I'm not sure if I really like that way of judging the fight or determining a winner. You know what I mean? But it's a damn shame what Makabu was going through, and I gotta say I'm really ashamed in how Don King and his team are treating this World Boxing Council sanctioned fight for the vacant WBC title. Rather, Don King ain't got no world champions as we speak right now. So why you cock blocking on your fighter and the man Makabu in trying to achieve that WBC cruiserweight title in Kinshasa, Zaire? And if you know the man Makabu, he's a South African base, born in Congo. Congo represents Congo, that's his country, always has his flag, but his career is based in South Africa, you know what I mean? Which is fine because South Africa is a hotbed in African boxing, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying they got a deep history when it comes to fights in fighters in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not too sure if I like this, man. I don't like it one bit. I don't like it one bit. Makabu versus Michal Pass Cieslak should happen on the 25th in Kinshasa, Zaire. Don King, stay out the way of your man trying to become a world champion. And now you've piqued my curiosity. I have to go and watch this guy's fights. Like y'all acting scared. You know, you acting like you got this, you handcuffing the man Makabu, and you actually trying to cock block on him trying to become a world champion. It's like you're handcuffing the man, you know what I mean? You're actually stagnating the man's career. And I'm not with that one bitch, you know what I mean? So I read y'all the letter in its entirety. Let me know what y'all think about Don King and his lawyer. Cease and desist letter to the Mauricio Suleiman and the World Boxing Council, WBC, in Mexico, trying to cock block on their own man from getting a world title fight. I'm not with it one bit. I want the African gentleman from Congo to become a world champion or at least challenge for a world title, especially for the fact he didn't participate in the World Boxing Super Series tournament, which I'm pretty sure was Don King who's the one who kept him out the tournament because Makabu, from his the way he seems, the kind of guy he is, he'll fight anybody, anywhere. He's already proven that. He's gone to Russia and knocked out Kujishaya. You know, he's knocked out Tabisa Muchunu in South Africa. He went to Liverpool to fight and was beaten Tony Bellew, even dropped him before he got stopped in the third round. So be Marsh Boxley, your thoughts and comments. Let me know what y'all think about the man Ilungu Makabu being cockblocked by his own promoter Don King and his lawyer. And let me know what y'all think's gonna happen. Will this fight happen on the 25th? Time shall tell. Time shall tell. Be Marsh Box. Leave your thoughts and comments. If you're new to the channel, please share and subscribe and hit the thumbs up if you like the content. And all the people be coming in this joint eavesdropping. And when I call your bluff, y'all fellas duck up out the room, scatter like roaches. Y'all need to grow a backbone. Support the channel. If you're not, just keep it moving, G. I'm gone.